Hello, today in history, we'll be looking at amalgamation, the amalgamation of the Nigerian territories. Let's look at the definition of amalgamation. Amalgamation is the action or the process or the result of combining or uniting things or nations. That's amalgamation. Now let's look at the amalgamation of the Nigerian territories. The amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914 was the process of uniting the northern and southern protectorates into a single entity or country called Nigeria. This amalgamation brought the two protectorates under one administration, policy, and government. The northern and southern protectorates were amalgamated by Sir Frederick Lord Lugard in 1914. By 1912, Lord Lugard became the Governor General of Northern and Southern Protectorates and came up with a proposal of merging the two regions for better administration and for economic reasons. Now, we said that earlier on that amalgamation is the process of joining or uniting nations or people. Now, the amalgamation of Nigerian protectorate was done in 1914 after Sir Frederick Lord Lugard was made the Governor General of the Northern and Southern Protectorates in 1912. Then, 2 years after, that was in 1914, he now joined the Northern and the Southern. The Southern Protectorates includes the Western and the Eastern region. He now joined the Northern and the Southern Protectorates together, and it became a single entity or a country called Nigeria. Let us look at the reason for the amalgamation of the Nigerian territories. One of the reasons was to unify the different parts of Nigeria, to make the different regions to become one. Another reason was for economic reasons of financing the budget deficit of Northern Protectorate. In the Southern Protectorate, they have enough finance or enough natural resources to help finance their budget. In the Eastern Protectorate, they're also able to finance their own budget. But in the Northern Protectorate, they did not have any. They had nothing. They didn't have enough finance. They didn't have enough raw materials to finance their budget. So, and the reason for joining these regions together was to help to finance the budget deficit of the Northern Protectorate. The Northern Protectorate was low in finance, so these other regions were joined together to help raise finance to take care of the budgets of the Northern Territory. Another reason was for administrative convenience. The joining of these territories together was to help them to be able to control these territories together as one body. Another reason was to facilitate the transportation of people and goods across the length and breadth of Nigeria, to make it easy to move people and goods within the regions of the Nigerian territories which have been joined together. Then, the coordination of development. Joining these territories together helped to effect development according to them. Then it was not intended to help Nigeria. The reason for amalgamation was not intended to help Nigeria. Ever since the Northern and Southern Protectorates have been joined together, I don't think Nigerians have been benefiting from it. This was because it was not the joining of Nigerian territories together was not intended. The intention was not to help the Nigerians. Now let's look at the personalities involved in the amalgamation of Nigeria. Sir George Tubman Goldie, born 1846 and died in 1925. He was a British merchant who later became a colonial administrator. He was responsible for the development of the northern Nigeria into a British protectorate. He formed the Central African Trading Company in 1876. He merged all the British trading companies into the United African Company. He established control over the people of the Niger and the Benue rivers. Sir George Tubman Goldie was a British merchant. He was also a colonial administrator. By the time he came to the African territory, he became a colonial administrator with Sir Frederick Lugard. And remember the Niger company that the British brought into Nigeria. They used it to claim territories. He was one of the people who also used this company to claim territories in the Nigerian region, and from there they were able to enter into these regions, and they now took over these territories. Another personality involved in the amalgamation of Nigeria was Sir Frederick Lord Lugard, born 1858 and died 1945. Lord Lugard was an administrator who played a major role in the British colonial history between 1888 and 1945. He served as a High Commissioner in the Niger area from 1900 to 1906. He later became the Governor and the Governor General in 1912 to 1919. He joined the Royal Niger Company between 1894 to 1895 to compete with the French in a treaty making exploration of the Middle Niger. This was the role Sir Frederick Lord Lugard played in the Nigerian territory. The other people who were also involved in the amalgamation of the Nigerian territory were the European missionaries. The European missionaries also played a key role in the amalgamation of Nigeria. Apart from preaching Christianity, they took it upon themselves to impose the advantages of colonial rule in the terms of promoting education, health, and welfare of the people, thereby paving way for colonial rulers. The European missionaries came to preach Christianity to the Nigerians. Aside preaching Christianity, they were also telling, through the education which they also brought, through the free education which they also brought, they were also telling the people of Nigeria about the advantages of colonial rule, and they also brought health and the welfare of the people. They did as if they had the welfare of the people at heart. They are using this means to pave way for the colonial rulers to come in, and they are also using this way to turn the hearts of the people of Nigeria, the territories where they were in. They are using this means to turn their hearts to be able to accept the colonial rules. Other people who were also involved were the traditional rulers, the Nigerian traditional rulers. The European had been trading along the coastal states such as Calabar, Bonny, and Lagos. They exchanged textiles, mirrors, gin, and other manufactured goods for slave and palm oil products in those areas. Through the making of treaties with the traditional rulers, Europeans enter agreements which requires the traditional rulers handing over their communities to them in exchange for protection of the communities. You see the role the traditional rulers played. Before the Europeans took over the Nigerian territories, they were coming to the coastal areas like the Calabar, the Bonny, and the river, and the Lagos. They were trading with the local people in these areas. Most times they were trading with these people through their traditional rulers. With time, the traditional rulers started signing treaties with these European traders, and these treaties they signed was an agreement that requires the traditional rulers to hand over their communities to the European rulers, to the European traders, in exchange for the protection of their communities. This has brought us to the end of this exercise today on amalgamation of the Nigerian territories. Let us look at the assessment section. What is amalgamation? State two personalities involved in the amalgamation of Nigeria. Drop your answer in the comment section. That will be all for today. Thank you for watching. See you in our next demo.